If you guys have been following along, you know we bought this boat for $100. We spent like 8 months in the boatyard fixing it up. We're still fixing it up, but now in the water. We're gonna do all the exhaust stuff today, which honestly could definitely sink the boat if we hadn't done. And we are editing these videos by the project, so you might see some areas of the boat that we had already done in the video that in the beginning of this video doesn't look done, like Sierra's beautiful galley over here, or the Formica paneling that we already did, kind of going back in time as we bring you through these projects to keep it organized by the project. Last but not least, our I Love Boat Work shirts are almost sold out. We have a few left. Get it before they're gone, because once they're gone, we're not reordering. There's not gonna be any left. They're super comfortable, really cool design, and the link is always in the description. We also have a bunch of our other merch, so check it out. Hope you guys like this video.
We just got something really exciting in the mail, and we gotta go open it up, set it up, because I think it's gonna make our lives a lot easier when it comes to living and working and traveling full-time on the boat and being able to stay connected and have internet so we can actually keep bringing you guys along. So as you can see right now, I am currently working off my hotspot and been trying to load for about 10 minutes on a simple web page. And I had a very small file trying to upload. Literally, it's not even a gigabyte, and it's taken like 45 minutes and it's not even close to being done. So that's been our constant struggle forever, trying to get internet, trying to upload videos, trying to update our website and share our merchandise and all of this stuff. And it's not easy because we work on hotspots, and sometimes we get throttled, sometimes we get deprioritized, and it just makes everything really slow. So we just stopped at our mailbox and we just picked up this bad boy in the mail. Well, that seems pretty simple. So it looks like we literally just plug this into here, and this gets plugged into the wall, and then this gets plugged into this, and then it just shows up. That's the simplest instructions I've ever seen. Oh baby. Woohoo! Oh yeah, baby. Can you go over to the dock and tell me if I look straight?
Over there?
Officially cross something off the list. So I just googled boat lettering, and this is from Boat US. It was about $70. They had a bunch of different fonts you can pick from, and then they like pre-proportioned it for you, so you didn't have to do like most of the math. You just, how tall do you want it, and they did the rest for how it would look with the specific font, and they like gave you a little proof, and it looked good, so we went with it, and I'm pretty impressed, right? Aren't you?
Yeah, we've gotten lettering before from sign shops as well. You can get them from a lot of different sign shops, but that was pretty straightforward.
And then I don't know if we've mentioned our future plans to you yet, but this list is a must do and to do because we are ready to start cruising. We really want to go up to Washington, the San Juan Islands. We've been working on the boat long enough, so as soon as the must do's are crossed off, we're going north.
Trying to get the battery bank hooked up and all our battery components, our electrical system, just going through the wires and everything, but I'm kind of stuck right now. We need some parts that are coming in tomorrow, some 2-aught wire and a bunch of terminals and battery lugs and all that stuff. So we're at a standstill. We also have another issue that we have to address. So this is our exhaust system from our engine to the muffler. It's a wet exhaust system, obviously, so like our raw water comes through the whole raw water system, and then this oil cooler, transmission oil cooler, and then out and up and into the exhaust elbow, and then it's injected to where all the exhaust gases are, and they all go into here and then out together through the exhaust tube. And as you can see, it's not hooked up right now because our exhaust hose is not in good shape here. So it looks like at some point they had spliced it together here, and then there's some duct tape up there for some reason. But it's old exhaust hose, not sure how old, but pretty old. It's all cracked, and it was dripping a little bit. So it's actually dripping seawater down the hose, and that's really bad around these steel tanks because it could just corrode the crap out of them really, really fast. It's actually bad up a little ways as well, but I went through the whole hose because, man, I was thinking we had to replace both hoses all the way back to where it exits the boat in the transom. But luckily, we're gonna show you. They left most of this hose whenever it was replaced last. I don't think it's original. They left this plastic cover on it on most of the hose. I don't know if you can see that, but basically that whole hose all the way through there is covered with that plastic. I think it's just the original plastic packaging wrap or whatever, the wrap that comes on it. And I peeled a bunch of that back all through, not like the whole thing, but in a bunch of different spots along the hose as it leads back through the transom of the boat. And luckily, it doesn't seem like it dry rotted at all. Like, I think this is just dry rot over time. It doesn't seem like it did that. It seems like that plastic has possibly preserved that hose. Long story short, we're not going to replace the whole thing. We're just going to splice in a new piece on each side. On this side, the port side, it's going to be just from the muffler here up and like, I don't know, 6 feet back or so. And we'll splice it in there. And the rest of it looks, every spot I checked a bunch of different spots, kind of went through the whole hose, looks perfectly fine. And then on this side, we have to go a bit deeper because it goes here. And then parts of it, I mean, this is all really bad. Parts of it are good back up this way, but then there's a little section over there that's pretty bad, and then beyond that it's all really good. So we'll just splice in a longer piece over on that side, and yeah. So what we have is 3-inch exhaust hose, and I got a bunch of new hose, what we need, and then this is the component that we use to splice it together. So this is 3-inch OD, and the exhaust hose is 3-inch ID. Yeah, this is called, I think the brand name is Vernatube. It seems like it's just a fiberglass tube, and it's meant for wet exhaust systems to do exactly this. They sell them in like all sorts of shapes and stuff. Like, we actually have another piece, if you saw off the engine, kind of, that's bent to like a 90 or 45 degree angle. I think it's the same thing. Anyway, this is what we use to splice it in. It seems like there's another one in there already, so we'll just reuse that one. It's going to be a pain in the butt, I think, because this hose is so stiff and inflexible, and it's a pain to maneuver and get through one of the bulkheads that we have to get through on this side. It's going to be a pain to cut. All right, let's cut out the bad sections. We'll get rid of the bad sections, and then we'll get ready to put the new sections in. Yeah, one little piece. There is wire in here, but it's all rusty and stuff. This closet is where the rest of that exhaust hose on the starboard side runs through that bulkhead. It runs through this storage thing under here and all through there to the back of the boat. So we're going to cut it somewhere in here, and that's where we're going to put the splice. Here's our new exhaust tube. I'm just going to open this up and like get it up in position and just make sure I know where it's going to end before I cut the other piece of the old one. Just don't want to be short. That would suck. Well, it does look like I have plenty. I got a little section, I got it cut now. You guys can see that. Just gotta cut the piece of wire that runs through it there. This is such a pain in the butt. There we go. Alright, let's try to pull it out from the engine room. Hopefully that works. Hopefully we can pull this out. Flathead. I hate flatheads. I don't think it's gonna be that bad if I can get a good grip on it. Come on. So close. I'm at a sticking point. Sierra can't help because we both can't reach where it's got to be pushed from. I'm just gonna try to have to muscle it. Come on. Yeah, I got it.
I can see you.
You can see me?
I really hope this isn't asbestos that you got your face in.
We'll find out soon, right?
Ooh, it's like a snake.
So this is our old exhaust tube. This is the worst of it. You can see, like, I showed you all the cracks. But under here it looks perfect, at least from the outside. I mean, it's not breaking apart like it does on the parts that weren't covered with plastic. I don't know, should we just have replaced the whole thing? It's an extra, like, 10 feet, which is like $400 for this crap, and a pain. Worst case scenario, like, it does end up starting to leak in the future, or at least show signs of degrading. We can just splice in that second half on this side. Look how bad that is. It's just it's just falling apart, the outer shield here.
That would cause a flood?
Yeah, sure, it could flood your boat, especially because the outlet of the exhaust is like real low. It's above the water line, but pretty dang low. So it could potentially, like, if you're in heavy seas and this split bad like that, and like you're getting swamped from behind with waves, like, yeah, that could sink your boat. Especially running over the top of our steel fuel tanks. Like, if it leaked above there, it would just, it's salt water running through here with exhaust gases. Even if it was a drip, it could really just corrode a hole in those fuel tanks. It could also fill your boat up with exhaust too when the engines are running.
The Chamber of Secrets.
Okay, go ahead.
Mine's getting, like, stuck. You have more to pull up there.
Yeah, but just keep pushing. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Alright, ready, 1, 2, 3. It's wanting to go. 1, 2, 3. What the heck? It's getting jammed.
I feel like it would help if I didn't have to be in this little loop thing, and I could walk back more. And, like, I could do it at, like, a steep angle, and you can just put that thing back on.
Yep. Alright. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Alright, 1, 2, 3. Oh, heck. Oh, come on. What the heck?
It needs to be pulled.
So the tube's got to be pulled down underneath that piece of wood or whatever that's blocking it.
You can't push it down because this is in the way.
Here, I'm clipping this wire because that's the one that doesn't link to anywhere, and you're going to pull it out. Alright, we got it through the bulkhead. We're almost there. Just want to get it as far as we can through, and I might trim the old piece a little bit more if we can. I'm going to line it up here first and see how much extra room we have. Yeah, I'm trying to. A little more. Alright, can you pull it some more? Definitely just bought ourselves some more room with a shorter run going that way. I think that'll be better anyway. We could take some more of that old tube off. And splice. The main reason I want to do that is just to splice it in a better spot, which I think we can. Jesus. like they used some sort of glue maybe on this old tube. There she is. Gotta clean it up a bit more, but so that's maybe 12 inches above the water line. That's the exhaust outlet there. Honestly, I don't have it plugged up right now. If we were in rough conditions or if we got a big wake or something, that could sink our boat right now. Like, the exhaust is disconnected basically right in line with that, maybe just 6 to 10 feet back from it. So if we got a big wave through there, it could start sending water in, and if we got enough water in, it would weigh down the boat and could sink the boat, honestly. Just a warning to you guys. It's well above the water line. We are in an extremely protected harbor. I've never felt a wake in here before, so the risk is pretty low. Still a risk though, so just something to think about. You could potentially plug up that exhaust outlet if you were concerned about that. I got that old coupling off, but I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, and I want to finish this side, so I'm just gonna use the new coupling, Vernatube or whatever. We also got some really nice stainless steel T-bolt clamps, probably the best hose clamps you can buy, and it's for a really important part of the boat, so we invested in those suckers. Let's get this installed down here. I think, yeah, if you can get two hands on that black tube.
Okay. It's not going anywhere.
I don't know if you guys can see that, but should have just replaced the whole tube at once. So the outside of both hoses looked perfect, like no cracks, no dry rot whatsoever underneath that original plastic covering. But the inside of the hoses are, at least on this side, is like pretty cracked and brittle and dry. And the biggest thing that told us that we should just replace it is that we can't even get the fiberglass sleeve inside, or the fiberglass coupling inside the hose. It's too just dry and cracked and brittle, and kind of slide it in with a bunch of silicone grease and stuff, and it just keeps catching the inside walls of the hose, and it's just like chipping up the inside walls a little bit, and then it's like completely blocking the coupling from going inside. We forced the coupling inside, we got it inside, but then you look inside and the inside wall of the hose is all like accordioned up, like it's just being smushed and pushed. As straight as we can possibly get that fiberglass tube in, it just keeps catching those inner walls, and those inner walls are just breaking apart and just blocking it. But more importantly, that's just sacrificing the whole integrity of the whole hose. Probably should just replace the whole thing at once. And now what we'll do, I think, is just replace the whole thing. But instead of wasting all the hose we have and the couplings, we'll just still splice it, but we'll just get more new hose for the back end of it, and we'll still have a splice in there, but not ideal. But we did try the coupling in the new hose, and it just slides in perfectly, like no problem whatsoever. We don't get to check that one off the list today. We did check one thing off the list today. We didn't record it, but we got the midship cleats on. That was a success. Where's the list? All right, well, slowly. We got over 2 weeks left here.
Well, one day we're doing the swap meet, and one day's my birthday, so...
So less than 2 weeks. Oh, you don't want to do boat work on your birthday? I had
Not a chance.
I had it all planned out for us. All right, so we finally got some more new exhaust hose in. Now we're going about replacing it. So we're pulling the rest of the old exhaust hose out, and Sierra's trying to push it from this side. I'm trying to pull it from this side, and sure enough, I just pulled it, and I pulled it right apart. Even though, like I said before, underneath the wrapper, like this hose looks perfect from the outside. No cracks or anything, but inside is just completely disintegrated. So this is something that could definitely sink this boat. It could sink anyone's boat.
It would have sunk our boat. if we didn't change it.
Like if you're in rough conditions and like your hose starts to fail, like that, the outlet over there is only a few inches above the water line. So like you get waves from behind pushing into that, man, forget about it. Like that's 3 inches of water that's coming in all at once. So we're still trying to pull this old one out through a couple small like bulkhead type areas.
So I think keeping it in the wrapper is probably not a good idea.
I guess not. And I mean, yeah, I guess not. Like,
it looks like it is, but it's probably doing more damage on the inside.
Well, it's probably, yeah, like if it's rotting, dry rotting on the outside, it's probably doing the same on the inside, and you can actually see it if the wrapper's off and notice that.
So we should take the wrapper off.
Yeah, I did on the piece that is in the engine room.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Down. Well, let's see. On this side better. Alright, we got all the old exhaust hose out. Now we got to run one more little like 8-foot section and then just splice the 2 new pieces together. We'll be all hooked up. Alright, try to push. Hold on. Okay, yep, keep going.
I feel like I'm jousting.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Just about there. Alright, sorry guys. Gotta take the camera out of there. How you doing?
Good.
That's ridiculous. I don't know how they got the old one on, because the old exhaust hose is definitely 3 inches. The exhaust outlet is 3.5 inches, like, diameter. So the old one, you could see it was stretched out a little around the old tube. I tried to heat this one up a bit, and I got some silicone grease on there. I'm able to get the lip on, but you can tell that the wire is not going to expand to allow me to get it all the way on. So now I think we're gonna have to, I'm pretty sure they sell like adapters and couplings, like probably fiberglass. Probably have to get an adapter or something. Alright, it's a few days later. We got our little fiberglass coupling things that are made specifically for exhaust hose, and then some just 2 feet of 3.5-inch exhaust hose to go from the bigger side of this coupling to the outlet side of the boat. So we're gonna get this done today, finally, at least on one side. In the next couple days, we'll work on the other side. All right, so we just basically put this in here. I'm surprised it fits that snug. Go big, solid stainless steel T-bolt clamps. Except, are these not big enough for this size? I don't think they are. Well, that's not gonna work. Alright, I got proper size T-bolt clamps. Oh my god, too big. Are you kidding me? Alright, back to the little store they have here at the marina. Alright, 3rd time's a charm. Got the right size T-bolt clamp. Nice and tight. Alright, let's get this in. Alright, I think I finally finished the exhaust on the starboard side here. The only thing left to do is basically run the engines and just check, make sure we have no leaks or anything, which I don't think we will. Those T-bolt clamps, you can clamp down pretty dang good. So here's the last little splice right there. In a perfect world, we would have 0 connections, but now we have like 2 splices in the exhaust line, which is far from ideal, but honestly, it's way better than it was because it's all new exhaust hose. We have to do the port side still, but we'll do that in the coming days. Anyway, lesson to you guys, check your exhaust hose inside and out. I don't know how you check inside, but anyway, see ya.